Surviving infidelity. Update, I found them in our bed. Original post. Last week, I was completely and utterly happy. Head over heels in love with my fiancée. We've been together for years and we found out in May she was pregnant. Life didn't feel like it could get any better. I'm an essential worker and still unfortunately have to travel from time to time for my job. I have been trying to cut down on plane travel and will drive if able. Last week, I was scheduled to be gone all week, but ended up being able to leave several days ahead of time, but wanted to surprise my fiancée. It was an 8-hour drive, but ended up being close to 14 because of traffic and poor timing on my part. I get home around 10:30 p.m., and find her and a coworker in our bed together having intercourse. She's an assistant producer at a local news station, and he's one of the anchors. She immediately tries to defuse the situation and says it's not what I think it is, and not to jump to conclusions. He jumps up and puts his clothes on and leaves. I was so angry I was seeing stars. She tries to talk to me about it, but I don't want to hear it. I leave and call a buddy and have been staying with him for the past 6 days. I spoke to her on the phone yesterday, and she told me it was a one-time thing, and she feels like the passion has been missing in our relationship, which I don't agree with at all. I think she was trying to justify the cheating and gaslight me. I'm so angry and she won't stop harassing me. I don't know what to do. We are going to be parents and I don't want anything to do with her, but I'm stuck with her for the next 18 years, minimum. She hasn't even apologized. She just keeps trying to justify her actions. Now for the top advice before reading the updates. One-time thing, huh? Not jump to conclusions? What exactly were you supposed to think? But she's right on one thing, don't assume it's your kid. Good luck. Thanks. I will lose it if she lied about the baby. That's a whole new level of low. Even for her. The fact that she is cheating is low, but she is cheating and pregnant? That's just disgusting. Couldn't have said it better myself. Who knows what she just exposed the baby and I too. I 100% agree with this. It's one thing to cheat and already have to worry about exposing your significant other to STDs, but to expose your unborn child to something that could harm them. Gross and selfish. Think about it. She notified you in May. This is the end of July. You didn't catch them the first time. No doubt about it. What type of person would have sex with another man in the bed she conceived a child in? You have to look at it as if you dodged a bullet. If it's yours then okay, but I would be surprised if it is. Lawyer should also demand DNA test. If this other guy is married, let the media and his spouse know. I don't think he's married or in a relationship based on social media. He looks like a bit of a player, following all the local models and NFL cheerleaders. Commenting on their pics, some following him back. Don't worry, a DNA test will be done. Now for the first update. So sorry for taking so long to update. This week has been hellish. Met with my friend's lawyer, family law buddy early last week. He contacted her and threatened to go public about their affair, so she was more forthcoming with information. She told him they had been sleeping together for over a year. She's 85% sure the baby is mine because they never have unprotected action, but doesn't want to have a DNA test until the baby is born. Lawyer believes the baby is the other guy's based on this comment. I haven't fully moved out yet, just moved a lot of my clothes into my buddy's place. The lawyer thinks I should sell the house and not let her buy me out, because he doesn't think she has the funds and would BS me. Also, sorry if I didn't answer you, I got a ton of messages here and in DMs. I tried to answer any much as I could. If you have any other questions, I'll be on for a bit. And now for the final update. I'm still blown away by the amount of people checking up on me both in this thread and via DM. I really appreciate the support and love during this trying time. On to what you're here for. We did multiple DNA tests. The baby is mine. He was born a few weeks ago and is by far the greatest thing to happen to me. He makes all this mess worth it. His mother and I are not together. I strictly speak to her about the baby and that is all. House is sold. Closing is 3-1, but we do not need to be there. Still living with my buddy, hoping to buy a new home in the next few months for my son and I. I did not go public with the affair out of respect for our son. Her employers know and she was terminated. He is still working there. I'm not sure what their relationship consists of and I don't care. I'm guessing he bolted. Now for some top comments. I don't understand the idea of not going public out of respect for your son. I mean, infants usually didn't give a damn about much at that age. To each their own. But I'd absolutely blow that thing up. A news anchor banging my wife for a year? Yeah, no way I'm letting him off with nothing happening. He has a public persona to protect, and I'm just the guy to screw that entirely up. I'd be single, no doubt. And responsible for blowing up both careers, at a minimum. Now he's just gonna move on to the next married piece of meat he can find, because he's never held accountable. It's sad that you aren't getting upvoted at all. Why should we protect terrible people? There is no reason to. I'm protecting my son, not her or her side piece. I don't want him to ever find this out from an online source, and I don't think it's right he grows up knowing his mom is trash. I am still trying to process the whole, it was a one-time thing. Has anyone ever, in the history of human relationships, bought such a low-effort excuse for an excuse? I really wish I knew why she would think I would buy that as an excuse. Why wasn't he fired? Tell his significant other. I have no idea why he wasn't fired. I'm guessing because he's harder to replace? Maybe he's on probation? He doesn't appear to have a significant other either. From what I've seen on his social media pages, he's a player. Follows a lot of local models and NFL cheerleaders. Probably hooks up with them, but nothing serious besides my, at the time, pregnant fiancée. Now for the next story. 2 years out. Found this site a while ago and read a lot, but never signed up until now. Love this subreddit and want to thank everyone here for being supportive, tough, and present for people going through this mess. Many a sleepless night were spent here, reading and thinking some more. Snippets of my horror: wife cheated with co-worker. I found texts, pics, and caught her in lies about traveling for work, all that. She moved in with her mom and I kept the kids for a while. He dumped her not long after and she tried to get back together, but I did my homework and was able to successfully petition for primary custody. We have managed a cordial relationship in front of the kids, but when they're not in earshot, we don't talk. I don't want to look at her or hear anything she has to say, even now. Our kids are youngish, pre-teen-aged, and I'm sure they understand to some degree, but it's been everything I can do to keep them away from any sort of mess from this. But this week was the greatest, brightest week of my life since D-Day. I've had primary custody since D-Day and the papers being signed, but this week, my ex-mother-in-law, a sweet woman who apologized to me time and time again for her daughter's actions, wanted to see them, so we worked it out. I was also asked on a date by the friend of a friend, my first actual date in years. We went out last night. She took me to a small restaurant owned by a friend of hers, asked me about myself and my situation and let me talk about how I've been feeling for a little bit, before we moved past that and talked of other wonderful things. We parted after dinner. She gave me a hug and kiss on the cheek, and told me she had a wonderful time, even texted me to make sure I got home okay, I don't drive at night very much, and let me know she'd love to see me again, and reiterated that she'd had a great time. Standing at my kitchen counter having a drink of water, it felt like everything hit me at once. The 2 years of laying in bed feeling like I had hot rocks in my stomach, or the burning feeling of anger and jealousy, and pain in my chest seeing the text messages and pictures she sent another man. Trying to keep my cool as my ex cried in front of me, begging me to take her back, she didn't mean to hurt me. Standing in court explaining that my wife cheated on me, and knowing that people were looking at me, wondering what I did to make her do that. I started crying harder than I've probably ever cried in my life. At first, I felt like I was releasing that pent-up anger, jealousy, pain, hurt, anxiety, regret, shame, all of it came out, and I realized that this new woman has reached out a hand and pulled me up, and made me see that my path is continuing on. I got up and I felt like I'd lost a weight that had been around my neck since D-Day. I feel like me again. I'm not trying to brag or rub it in anyone's face. I hope by posting this that it'll help someone remember that there's a whole planet of people who are good, honest, kind, and want to meet you. Obviously when you're buried in crap, you don't think about the shower after, but it's there and it's the best feeling in the world. Thanks for letting me ramble and thanks for everything. Now for some top comments. You're not bragging, you're letting each and every one of us know that we still have a future. Thanks so much for sharing. While I do like his history of overcoming the pain, he never needed another woman to validate his worth. Self-respect above all? What a wonderful, encouraging thing to read. You're doing it, man. Brick by brick you're rebuilding yourself up, one day at a time, 60 seconds per minute. Keep pushing forward and before you know it, you'll be flying in friendly skies once more. The last story is titled, Mental Breakdown After Being Cheated On. My wife of 8 years cheated seemingly out of nowhere a few months ago. It was a long drawn-out miserable experience, and for the past few months, I feel like I have been responding fine. We are separated, and working towards divorce. We have a 4-year-old daughter, and are starting to split our time with her. I thought I was handling it fine, but a few weeks ago seemingly out of nowhere, I had all the symptoms of what seemed like a panic attack. And these symptoms have only worsened, and occurred more often as time has gone on. I feel at times like I am completely detached from my surroundings, and even myself, and will have this sense of doom that seems inescapable. I find I can't eat most days, or will throw up what I do eat. I am completely miserable, and struggling to find the help I feel I need. I can't seem to shake these moments. And they often seem to be tied to my daughter, and interactions with my wife. I am just wondering if anyone else who has gone through this has experienced something similar? I have had issues with depression in the past, but nothing to this extent. And I feel completely helpless. I am working to receive help through the VA as I am a veteran, but the process is slow. The private psychiatrist I have seen was only willing to prescribe me something to help with the physical symptoms I have described above, but they don't seem to be helping. I am just looking to find some kind of solution, or sense of optimism that I am not insane. Now for the top advice. Go see your primary care doctor today. Seriously. Don't mess about with this. Veterans have support groups and access to help. Are you still active duty? If enlisted, tell your senior NCO today. I managed to get an appointment with my primary care doctor Wednesday. I am not currently active duty, but looking to take advantage of all the resources available to me as a veteran for sure. I appreciate the response. It motivated me to call my doctor's office again, and get something scheduled. You're experiencing PTSD symptoms. This isn't unusual at all because infidelity causes trauma that can last for years. This isn't something you can tackle on your own, so it's good you're trying to seek therapy, and the meds in combination with that can help. The fallout from infidelity is brutal for the betrayed spouse. We understand what you're going through. It's the club none of us want to be a part of. This is still so fresh for you. It helps to talk about it and see that what you're experiencing is something that many of us are experiencing too. I'm 2 years out from D-Day and it's still happening. I'd say what you're experiencing is normal, but nothing about being betrayed is normal. It's one of the more messed up things a person can go through. One of the most messed up things a trusted partner can do to their spouse. Take good care of yourself. Be kind, patient and gentle with yourself. Don't beat yourself up for what you're feeling. You're experiencing grief and trauma from your wife's betrayal. It's not an easy thing to go through and it changes us forever. We see you and hear you. Use this space to unburden yourself of some of your grief. It really helps. This comment really helped me this morning. I appreciate the kind words, and it helps a lot to know that people have been through something similar. You are going through the 7 stages of Los Kubler-Ross. You're going to be up and down for a while. It's a process. You were in deep shock and your ability to focus and power through to protect yourself is great. Now you have time to reflect and grieve. Embrace it, get support and know you are not alone and are normal. There is so much great content in this sub. It will really help. Now for the last story. So he cheats, lies, and is mad at me? For those that don't know my story, ex of 5 years left me suddenly while I was 4 months pregnant with our second child. He is still being a dad. So in his words, he left me, not the kids. He likes to tell me that constantly. He left one day, never came back, never communicated anything with me, never opened the door to discuss what we could fix or work on. Both the kids and I went through the motions at the same time. I had no idea, the kids had no idea. 11 and 4, 11-year-old is mine who is dad to him, and we share 4-year-old. I was totally blindsided. I came to find out he had been talking to / seeing a coworker he told me not to worry about in the time leading up to his leaving. He still denies to this day that there is another woman, despite proof, phone records etc. Fact is, he cheated on me leading up to the breakup and is continuing with the affair partner. Fast forward to now, 6 weeks after he leaves, he ends up taking a 4-day trip with her. I find out, call and text him one day during his trip. He denies it, says he's doing something for himself, that he isn't with anyone. More lies. I know I should realize he's never going to admit it, and that it shouldn't matter seeing as how we're not together anymore, but why not just say the truth? Before the trip, he was acting sorry and like he was hurting. Now since then he is mad at me, yelled at me, told me off, like as if I've done something wrong? As if I'm the one who left, cheated and lied. Or as if I did something to him? He hasn't reached out since, nor have I. It's clear he's made his choice. I hate how I feel like I did something wrong. Why, after I confront him and he denies it, would he then turn it on me? Be mad at me? I don't get it. I need some perspective from you guys to help me understand. Now for the advice. It is what I call counter-blaming. Many people, if they get caught doing something wrong, decide the best defense is a counterattack. And this is why he blames you. Yes, it's a very weird mindset. I saw it happen to my brother. He came back from university and his girlfriend who he had a place with was furious with him. He couldn't figure out what he was supposed to have done, until we found out whilst he was away she had cheated, and I guess somehow that was my brother's fault or something? Just like I experienced, when the cheater is finally outed, they flip, and the real person there comes to light. So my brother's ex just went on the attack, because these people don't like when all the people around them are suddenly judging them. They will pull any trick in the book to try and excuse their behavior. A-holes. I am sorry you are going through this. My soon-to-be ex did the same thing. He blindsided me with wanting a divorce. I then found out about his first affair a couple of weeks later. He told me I was delusional and he wasn't cheating on me. After I found out, he accused me of being toxic and moved 45 minutes away from us that was not kid-friendly, wasn't by the school, etc. He kept blowing us off for his affair partner. He kept saying he wasn't abandoning our son, but was abandoning me. There were loads of gaslighting, emotional abuse, denial, pathological lying, justification/rationalization for what he had did to me. He even told me at one point that, I have to lay to you, because you can't handle the truth. Yeah, I was not accepting of his ethically and morally wrong behavior. The aftermath of the affair and the torturous months of enduring that abuse, was honestly harder on me than the affair. Here's my advice. If you're not in therapy, get a good one. Go no contact with ex as much as possible. Look up how to deal with narcissistic behavior. Dr. Ramani has great YouTube videos. It sounds like he is in affair fog, best not to reason with a crazy person. In my case, my soon-to-be ex was trying to keep his image intact. He got explosive angry when I went to his parents. He tries to control my schedule, which I deny at every turn. Yes, it is absolutely infuriating for them to escape accountability, rewrite history and blame shift. It is absolutely infuriating to see their family protect them and encourage that behavior. Just never lose sight that you don't need to be with a monster like this. He has issues that he will probably never take care of. Stay strong, sis. Yes, I've gone no contact. I guess I expected him to admit it and feel guilty about what he's doing, but he too hasn't made any contact with me since getting angry with me. Another reason he may be mad is that, I too revealed the truth to his family while he was on his getaway. His family says they don't want to get in the middle of it, which I understand, but at the same time, if I was doing wrong and my parents were alive to see it, they wouldn't hesitate to tell me I was wrong. I agree with trying to keep the image intact. And that's it for this video, guys. If you have thoughts to share, leave a comment below. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe if you like this content. I'll catch you in the next one. Good day, everyone.